Well, I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. Finally getting back to videos here. Figured I would do a video on the lathe. Picked up a couple things. I actually bought these. I actually got these in the mail about a week and a half ago. But I have not done anything, mostly because I've either been sick and then I was dealing with some family. Not dealing with, I was spending time with my family for Christmas. So back to getting things done here in the shop. Picked up this quick change tool post. Now what I did with the tool posts, I actually just went and bought it. I bought it off of Amazon. It's Accu size, so I'm sure it's a Chinese special. And I went ahead and got a set of the carbide tip cutting tips and bars. And what I've done is I've actually gone ahead. I haven't completely set these up yet, but I have these kind of set up. And so you just kind of pop them in here and lock them in. And so hopefully that'll make things a little bit nicer. I've set this one up so it's correct. It's the correct height. I've gone ahead and faced this piece of brass again, and you can see that the face is correct. Also done just a little bit of cutting with it with another. Nope. I did some cutting with this one right here. So got that. I got this one set up as well. The next one I've got to set up is the threading insert. So I've got a threading insert because I've got I think I've mentioned this. I've got a small project that I want to do where I need to make some 8mm thread. Now this is a Imperial or SAE lathe. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of study on how to do that. I know there's a couple videos out there on how to thread metric on a Imperial lathe. I do know that Clausing makes some quick change or some gears to do metric on these. I think they're very expensive and very hard to find. So I'll definitely have to work on doing that later. But this is an Accu size. It is a wedge style, not a piston style. The wedge style seemed to get a little bit better reviews than the piston style. Super excited to have it. It should make my life quite a bit easier. Also got some other tool holders in here. Boring bar, parting holder, and then one more. I can't remember what it is. But, oh, knurling set. So that should be... we should have some really good projects coming up for the tool post. Excited to have it. I have no earthly idea if I've set it up right. I think I have. The threading will be the big one. 8mm threads. Going to have to sit down and do some math on that. I picked up some steel a couple weeks ago, and I can work on that. So just one of the things that's coming up. I'll go around the shop and do some other things that we're working on. So also as a part of kind of a Christmas gift to myself, I bought 4 more LED lights for over the lathe. That way the lathe is quite a bit brighter over the lathe, so you can actually see what I'm doing. And then on Black Friday, I went and bought myself, after many years of trying to avoid it, went and bought myself a battery engine starter. One of the wheeled kind that I can actually start an engine with instead of trying to continuously use a battery charger. Another one of the projects that we're going to get into here in the next little bit is we're finally going to get around to fixing this air compressor. I know that I have all the parts. I rounded them all up and they're sitting up here. So now I can go ahead and we can get to work on this air compressor. This is a 2475 Ingersoll Rand. It's for a T30 compressor, and I'll walk over to the compressor tank and I'll show you what we're going to do over there. But I've got to rebuild this. I think that the bearings were bad in this one. So I have all of the gaskets and seals and everything, and so now I can start working on putting this back together. Hopefully I can get this back together next week, week and a half, and we'll have a larger air capacity. So this is the new, or the new to me, T30 air compressor. This is single phase still. So this is a single phase 120 motor. I did a little, like a part one of this series a long time ago, well over a year ago. And it's just time to work on fixing this and getting it up and running. I still am. I'm still trying to get rid of some of that congestion from being sick. But originally we had it wired into the old electrical panel. Yes, I have the cover for it and everything. I've actually been doing a little bit of work trying to figure out how I want to wire stuff, because the previous owner of the house kind of just wired stuff all willy-nilly. And we're actually going to take one of the reasons that we ran, aside from the lathe, one of the reasons that we ran more power to the shop was so I can run stuff like this right here. I'm going to leave most of the circuits in there, or the breakers that are in there, in that box. I am going to move a couple, including the air compressor, over to my new 200 amp service right here. If you look here, I've already got, so this is the heater. We took the electric heater that was out of the garage and we put it in here. So that's on. I don't use it at all, but it is in here in case I need a little bit of supplemental heat or anything like that. And then we've got the power for the closing lathe. This right here is, what is this one? Sorry, this is for the heater. This will be for the air compressor. So I'm actually going to run the power out of the air compressor, run it over here, up and into and this is single phase, so I don't need a VFD. And then this is the outlets for down there by the lathe. So that's some of the projects coming up. Hopefully get the air compressor fixed here pretty quick. We can get it mounted back up here, and we have air. Obviously I have a lot to do with the air system itself. I think I'm gonna come out and I'll put the air dryer probably right here, and I will work on plumbing an entire air system for the shop. Probably do it in copper, but run it up. My ultimate goal is to actually put a hose reel right here. That way everything, and I may actually do one hose reel on either side of the garage door. And I will also do a service. So one hose reel right here, one hose reel on the other side. That way either side of the garage can be serviced by a hose reel. And then also I'll run one up and then over here to the press. That way I've got direct air supply to the press. I'm not having to run a line or anything. Speaking of, one of the other things that I'm having to work on is the press. If you remember when I got it, if you've watched a lot of my videos, so this is a Strongway 40 ton press from Northern Tool. Really like it. But if you remember back when I first got it, there was some scarring on the piston for the ram. Well, come to find out, it's actually leaking oil. And if you look down there, you can see all the oil on the mat down there. And then there's probably oil in there. There was already some black stuff in there. That black oil is not coming out of the press. I contacted Northern about it, and they was like, okay, well, we'll just send you a new ram. So there's the new ram right there. Got it. I need to have it. I need to install it in the press. Not that I mean, obviously I'm getting paid to work for free here. But Northern was super cool about it. They're like, yep, sorry that happened. We'll ship you a new one. Ship me a new cylinder, and there it sits. So this one is still functional. It just loses hydraulic fluid, or loses hydraulic fluid. So I'll get that switched out sometime in the next, I don't know, a couple months. And then once I'm done with that, I can turn my attention to that. So back to the Brown & Sharpe Universal number 2 vertical or horizontal mill. And I think what I'm going to do with that is I'm just going to get I'm probably, based on what I've seen so far, I'll get a 10 horsepower VFD, run it to that box over there where the other VFD is at, and basically just run a separate line, run a conduit over to that box for the second VFD. So that's where we're at on shop projects. I have one other project that I want to go back in the back part of the shop and show you. So back to this 420. After a considerable amount of thought, it's just not economical to fix, unfortunately. I've looked at a lot of the things, and it's just not economical. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it apart. We're going to look at components. What I am going to do, one thing I'm going to try to do, because the drive shaft is in here, it's all wobbly. I'm going to see if I can fix that drive shaft by replacing the U-joints. At least we're going to try. Or the cross bearings. And so we're going to see if we can do that. And then as a part of that, this engine doesn't need it, but I have two more things that I want to do this winter while I'm in the shop and can't do anything outside. This is all, of course, pending the amount of snow that we get. I want to tear apart a steering cylinder on the lathe. If you watch A-Bomb79's channel, he recently rebuilt a RV jack cylinder that was sealed. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to weld it back up, but I would love to part it, take it apart, see things along those lines. I have a couple cylinders that I need to do that would be nice to rebuild. And then also, I'm going to rebuild an Onan. Not this one, because this one run fine. I'm actually going to take, since this is a 20 horsepower performer, I'm going to take and set this one on a shelf, and I'm not going to do anything with it. It's just going to sit on a shelf as a spare for me. Other than that, if you see anything on this machine that you want, drop me an email. I don't know how many people have looked at one of the previous videos, but I do have a website now. And if you would like something, what I can do is, you can either PayPal me the money, or I can set it up on that website and you can buy it through that. Hopefully, yeah, if you got questions, just drop me an email, my username @gmail.com. I'm happy to sell you parts. If you see something you need, I'll let you know if it's already spoken for, or I can just set parts up on the website. But that's what we're going to do here. Got a couple things that I want to show you. We'll probably go through the transaxle, things like that. Look at the shifts on the transaxle. Like all the mechanisms and stuff, things along those lines. So that's what we're going to do here coming up now that I am feeling better and Christmas is over. Work is still super busy, but I think I can handle it. Trying to get everything done here. Got quite a bit of cleanup work to do on the shop, and we'll go from there. Now, a really cool thing is, just going back to the air compressor, that is the next air compressor I'm going to work on after I get this other one done. So, questions, comments below. Thanks for all your views, support, and whatnot this year. Hopefully I have enough time in the next couple days to put a montage video together of basically everything that we've done in the last year. So thanks for watching.